Common sense isn't gone. It just needs a comeback. Common Sense Superheroes with David and Greg.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. That is from Stevie Wonder, and that is a song. I say he wrote it. It's basically Happy Birthday about Martin Luther King Jr., and that's what helped make MLK Day a holiday. But that is not why I sing it, even though I do love Stevie. We have a special birthday today. Greg, somebody having a big day today?
David, on 14 years ago on this day, God blessed me with daughter number 2. And Madison Avery Miller was welcomed in this world, head full of dark hair. And at that time, you were the only dark-headed friend I had, so I was a little
Mhm.
concerned. But just a beautiful baby girl, has been an absolute blessing in my life. I'll tell you, any personal growth I've had during her lifetime, she has played a big role in it. And it's a weird thing. And you've got multiple kids, so you might understand this. I don't know that I ever really experienced true love until I had my first child. And it's just a completely different feeling. And then when number 2 was on the way, I was kind of go, oh shit, I'm not that deep. I'm pretty full of love with number 1. I'm not sure I can handle another one of these and love it the same way. I mean, the moment I saw Madison Avery Miller, it was instantly, I go, holy shit, God just gave me a completely second cup full of love. It wasn't like I had to replace the first one at all. And in a lot of ways, I think that was a moment where I really allowed myself to open up to the idea that there's so much more out there for us if we're open to it and if we'll allow ourselves to connect with people. And so this child has been an absolute blessing. I'll tell you, I respect the heck out of her as much as I can for a 14-year-old child. She is strong-willed. She is stubborn. You will know exactly where you stand with her. You will know exactly what her opinion is on whatever you are talking about. And for a 14-year-old, I'm telling you, talk about burned hard in her convictions. When she believes something, you ain't changing her mind. I love her. Maddie, happy birthday, sweetheart. Daddy loves you.
I like that. And quick to call me out. She busted me out of a few when kept
In
talking
fact, she
about
has.
Haley. She has busted me out with the quickness, and I appreciate that. And I'll say this: both your girls, between you and Megan, just as pretty as cute as they could possibly be. Two great looking parents, and it turned into two great looking kids, good looking kids. And from what you tell me, just as sweet as can be and smart, which obviously they get from their mom, but very smart, great girls. Happy birthday, Madison. Madison Avery. That's a good job. I like you gotta, people should really take some time in naming their kids. It's got to flow. And that goes really well.
David, I don't know how in the world I managed this. And you might be familiar with the story because this is back about the time you and I were really hanging out a lot back in that when my kids were born. And I didn't, I didn't have a lot of arguments in my first marriage, and I damn sure didn't win a lot of them. But I will absolutely claim the distinction of 100%. I came up with both of my daughters' names: Bailey Alexandria Miller, Madison Avery Miller. There's a tie to Athens or UGA in there for both of them for me. I won't have to explain that. But that is something I am still when I see their names, it's still the way it rings, the way it rolls off your tongue. I absolutely love it. I'm tickled to death, and that's a weird thing to be proud of. But I am proud of my children's names, David.
I wanted Barrett Alexander because I thought that sounded just had a little oomph in it, but I got ruled out by being Barrett Andrew. But it's either way. I do like the way it flows. Great names. We took pride in trying to name our kids as well. A little bit different. When you got a last name Smith, I had to throw it out a little bit different. Lawton, Barrett, and Sutton, slightly different.
You
But
have you and Brooke definitely have the all country club team name.
yes, no, we don't have the country club wallet. That's the problem, though, the pocketbook. But maybe we'll get there. You got to start with the name. But happy birthday, Madison. And like Eric Church sang in a song, every life owes a death. That's what the Bible says. And as we celebrate the birth of a great person, we end up memorializing or mourning the death of a great person, the GOAT, as some would say, the legend that is Mr. Norris, Greg, Chuck Norris, dead at 86 years old.
Uh, David, at the risk of sounding completely sacrilegious, It took Jesus 3 days to beat death, and I'm sure with some of the legends I've heard of Chuck Norris, maybe we should give it some time.
I mean, he may just be taking a big nap. You never know. That is a good point. That is a little bit sacrilegious, Greg. But until what's today? Friday? Until Tuesday, I'm gonna hold off on all the memorial posts because he is Mr. Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris doesn't breathe. Oh, this is a bad one. I should not have started with this one. That sounds bad. Chuck Norris doesn't breathe. Air hides in his lungs for protection. Why did I start with that one? That's a bad one.
I think there's an odd thing, and I don't know if this even makes sense, but I've always kind of felt this about Chuck Norris, and he embodied this very unique combination of qualities. And when all those jokes started to become famous, it really kind of put it together where, like, on one hand, it kind of sounds like you're making fun of him because let's be real, he didn't have that superhero look. He didn't look like your
No.
traditional badass kind of guy. So it kind of felt like, hey, we're picking on this guy because he plays a superhero but doesn't look like one. But then in reality, this dude was like a legit badass.
Yeah.
So you're kind of going, but there's also some seriousness to these jokes. It was weird. And I don't think there have not been a lot of celebrities that I think kind of encapsulate that where you could kind of play both sides of, hey, this could be really serious because they are this guy, or we could be kind of, sarcastically making fun of them portraying this guy.
He was fairly muscular, but like you said, nothing like you would, if you walk in a bar and he had on a flannel shirt, you wouldn't be like,
He wasn't
scared to
Arnold. He
run
wasn't
him.
Rambo.
He wasn't Jean-Claude Van Damme. You'd be like, I ain't worried about this dude. And then he would literally kick your teeth out because he was a legit karate expert, badass black belt, just phenomenal dude. And he was Walker, Texas Ranger, damn it. That's what I'm saying. I remembered him from that. When Chuck Norris enters a room, he doesn't turn the light on. He turns the dark off. Just saying. It's gonna be all day, baby. All day we're gonna be dropping these dimes in. Is there a movie? I know I said Walker, Texas Ranger, but is there a movie that stands out to you that he was in?
No, most of the stuff that I think when he was really, more popular was kind of early in our generation. I mean, I remember some of the stuff
Yeah.
back in the early '80s. Missing in Action, I think, was a series. There were several of those, but that was kind of bloody and gory back then, and my parents weren't real keen on me watching that stuff. So
Delta
I never
Force
really
within
saw a
Delta
lot of his
Force.
stuff, but I was always aware of who he was and the roles he played.
Yep. Listen, Chuck Norris can do a wheelie on a unicycle. That's a I hadn't heard that one before. That's a good that's a good one. That is a good one there, Gregory. Yeah, Delta Forces and all that, what he in those. I remember
There
this
you
is
go.
not
Yeah,
him, but I watched was it not was it Death Wish with that
yeah, that was
Hispanic
Charles
looking dude?
Bronson.
Charles Bronson. Another one you're like, he wouldn't even try to fight you, he would just shoot you. But those were some good ass that's 80s personified right there, baby.
I don't know why I'm about to say this, but I got a feeling that those movies were probably a lot more popular in Thomaston, Georgia than they were where I grew up.
I mean, just don't act like you grew up at 90210, Greg. Okay?
Um,
Macon's not
Macon was high
exactly
class.
Macon is not exactly high society, okay? Certain areas maybe down off Cherry Street or whatever. I don't even remember the name. Isn't there Cherry Street?
There is, and it's not exactly high society.
See, that's all I know. There's if you watch some of those old shows about Macon, I remember watching City Confidential, and it was about murder, obviously, but we're talking about Macon and the high society and all that. And I'm like, this ain't the Macon that I'm currently living in when I was living there. I don't know what this part was, but there were some nice areas in downtown, but you take one wrong turn and it's over, son. But yes,
A large chunk of downtown Macon has rightfully been gentrified and improved upon. It's actually not a bad place to go down
has
there
it
now, and
came
yeah,
up?
they've got some nice parks and good restaurants and bars. There's some, I mean, Mercer has really taken off in the last decade or so, and with
Yeah.
the growth of Mercer and that campus being so close by, downtown Macon's actually it's not a bad spot. Now, I don't wanna say, I don't wanna be down there at 2 a.m. on a Friday or Saturday night, but I'll go down there for dinner.
Well, Kamala Harris has single-handedly stepped up the rookery. When she went to the rookery, I heard business is booming down there, son. Kamala bringing jobs, bringing money. That's her. Kamala 2028. That's
God, let's
great.
hope so.
She's gonna try. By the way, she did the old like 107 days. That's all I had, and that's why it was trouble. I think you would have been voted in had you only had 7 days. Is the fact that you was able to get out there and people listen to you talk. That's the part that hurt you. It wasn't the fact you only had 107 days. It's the fact you had too many days. Joe Biden got elected because they kept him in the damn basement.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still think we're gonna turn the corner on all this weirdness that's happened in the last 5 to 10 years. And I think at some point, David, when you and I are in our 70s and hopefully not still doing this show, but hopefully sitting on a porch, relaxing and enjoying coffee in the morning and some whiskey at night and talking about life, I think we're going to talk about this stretch from, 2016 when Trump really kind of hit the stage to 2025, 2026 of going, yeah, I mean, it was a time where literally the world has in some ways just been turned upside down on its head, flipped around. And I think we're still trying to figure out where we're going to land to move forward. But I think we're going to look back on all that. Like Kamala Harris was damn close to being our president. Like, I mean, like there were damn near 80 million people were willing to test the theory of let's put her in this spot and see what happens. And I just can't imagine where would we be today? I mean, think about with the North Korea situation, the Russia Ukraine situation, the Israel Hamas situation, now the Iran stuff. Like, where would we be if Kamala and her school buses and Venn diagrams was trying to explain shit to people?
As scary as it is to think of Kamala as president, it's equally as scary to think of Tim Walz as the vice president. I know where we wouldn't be is Minnesota looking at all the damn fraud that's taking place, which they need to come. But I'll tell you this much. Chuck Norris beat the sun in a staring contest. Just saying. That's who we need. Somebody as president that can do that. Somebody who can kill two stones with one bird. Okay? That's Chuck Norris. He can do that. Listen, Chuck Norris can unscramble an egg. How many people can do that? Saying great.
I'm glad you've got this to work with because this might have been a light material day, and now you can just run with Chuck Norris jokes all day.
He can make onions cry, Greg. Chuck Norris can make onions cry. Speaking of crying, I saw some crying going on when we were talking about Trump possibly going to be asking for $200 billion for this military situation / war going on in Iran. And Lauren Boebert came out and, in no unnecessary terms, just came out and said, no, not going to happen. I will not vote for that. And I got to say, if I had a vote for it, I think I too would not vote to have them 200 billion more. I thought we were about done. I thought it was a short war. I'm not for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know anybody that would willingly say they're for spending more money on a foreign war. I think this is just another one of those situations where what we're presented as far as the information in the news is probably not enough for us to really form an opinion. I would imagine that somewhere along the lines, she's Lauren Boebert, and I like Lauren. I think she's fairly good at what she does. I don't think she is lying per se, but I definitely think she is being somewhat misleading in how this is presented, which is the case with anything they're talking about bills that pass, because there's always some part of a bill you go, well, this is why I didn't pass it, or hey, they didn't. Like, why won't they pass the Save Act? It's not as simple as just ID to vote. There's more to it than that. And so the people who don't want to vote for it, instead of saying, I'm not supporting it because of the ID to vote thing, I'm not supporting it because this little piece of thing that's in here, it's all bullshit. It's all shell games. And again, I go back to what have I said repeatedly? They're all theater kids. They're all acting. None of them are trying to accomplish anything.
Now that I have set this bar as somewhat criticizing Trump, let me go on his defense somewhat, or the Republicans' defense. We have a war going on. What's very important during a war? I'm thinking safety, things like that, homeland security, things like that. The Democrats have shut that down. We have no TSA. TSA for the second time in less than a year, it seems like, are working without pay. And, and that's a huge deal, especially rolling into spring break and whatnot. It is unfathomable that we are continuing the argument over this. We have control in it. The narrative is somehow that Trump is letting it, and the Republicans are closing it down and not having it. They're open up for TSA and Homeland Security. And They've done a great job. I got to give them credit in making everybody think that's the case. But let me tell you, it is not. They control the vote to have to open it up, and they are not doing that. So the Democrats are to blame for that. I'm pointing fingers.
Also, David, we've named this show "Common Sense Superheroes," and we've tried to take that approach. And I think this is another one of those situations where people have to look at the pragmatic common sense idea of we're in the middle of something now, and again, good, bad, or indifferent, whether you wanted it, whether you didn't want it, and we all have our opinions from where we thought before this popped off. We're in the middle of it now, and I know this is a terrible analogy, and I know this is disgusting, but you don't get off the toilet mid shit. And that would be what we're doing right now. You finish the business, then you wipe, and then you get off the toilet. We're on the toilet right now. You have to see this through. Otherwise, you've done nothing but make a mess.
Yes, when it comes to that, but I'm still upset the fact that they've closed down, Homeland Security and stuff like that because they're trying to get. You've already fired Christy Nome. They've done what you've asked for the most part. They're just not going to roll over and give it to you. Take your whooping like a L, take your L like a champ, and open things up. You're really hurting people's paychecks, but you don't care because it's not your paycheck. Again, if we will shut down their paychecks, funny how that vote will change quickly. But anyways, I
Political
digress.
theater. It is
Yes.
nothing but political
All
theater.
it is. They wanna tell me they care. You don't care. You don't give two shits. And also, $200 billion, I am not for. I don't want it. I get the point, and you're right. You gotta finish the job because I feel like in 2000 in, 1990 1990, the first Operation Desert Storm, we went in, blew shit up, but we didn't fully finish the job, and look what that happened later. It ended up waking things up. Clinton did not finish the job when he could have taken Osama bin Laden out, and he did not, and look what that turned to. So I'm with you in the fact that we gotta go in and finish the job. Now, the 200 billion, so I get to it in just a second. The 200 billion, I am against. And a lot of people, the Democrats are all against, of course. But if you're against the 200 billion, your ass better had been against the 175 billion that we gave Ukraine for a war we're not involved in. If you didn't say shit about that, don't say shit about this when it's a war that we're actually sending our guys in.
That's you touched on the point I was going to get to. It's not only is it all just complete and veritable hypocrisy. David, you and I touched on this, and we won't go deep down the rabbit hole, but the entire it's all monopoly money. It's all fake. Like you said, you can support 180 million on this, but you can veto 200 million on this. Look, until I actually will admit that I had a brief modicum of hope when Elon was involved, and I thought, okay, we're actually going to get serious about cutting the bullshit and
Yeah.
fixing the budget. David, until we get to that point, until we get to the point of go, hey, we're going to knuckle down and we're just going to suffer for 3, 5, 10 years or whatever. We're going to have to make some changes to figure out how to make this economy something sustainable because it ain't going to last on the path we're on. We all know that. But until we get to that point where I'm willing to believe that those types of changes are being made and that the people in those congressional offices are trying to implement those changes, F any of them that want to talk about anything from a budget standpoint. They're all playing with monopoly money. It ain't their money to start with, but hell, the money ain't even real. It's all numbers and decimals on computer screens. None of it's real. The economy's a joke, and that's why none of this matters until we all start taking it more seriously.
Everybody wants to criticize Elon for the Doge. It was like, Doge said it was going to save this many billions of dollars, and he only saved like 300 million. I'm like, do you hear what you said? 300 million. That's not no chump change. They throw that out like it's shit. They actually saved a ton of money and they should have saved a lot more, but God forbid, everybody wanted to criticize. He sent out an email saying, hey, just respond to this. If you don't respond to this, then that tells me you're not even working or looking at your thing. People were staying home getting checks without even going to the office, without working or nothing. He asked them to come in the office. They're like, no, I'd rather just retire or just quit. The amount of fraud that took place and people collecting checks when they shouldn't have. If you can't respond, if your job is uh, via email for the most part, and you can't respond to an email within like 20 days or say what you've been doing for the last 6 months, then your ass shouldn't be paid. I was on board with that.
I think Elon Musk is the real life, real world version of Shohei Ohtani. I think his brilliance is almost understated and underappreciated right now. What that guy is single-handedly, I don't even know if I think it's maybe a very small percentage of people who really understand the games that that dude's playing and how much just him alone is going to revolutionize things. So, I mean, at this point, man, I'm hoping at some point Elon is involved with JD in the future or whoever. We want Elon as part of the conservative party. I want to get him back doing the Doge cuts. Let's give it to him. That dude went in there, chopped off about 80% of Twitter, and it didn't miss much of a beat for a couple of weeks. The guy knows what he's doing. I would love to have him come in at some point following what Trump's been able to do and go in there and do what Elon's good at and just clean house and let's make this shit more efficient and let's get something that we can use to build for a future. Because right now we continue to just put band-aids on bullet wounds and it ain't gonna work.
Don't understand how you can be for basically waste. And the fact that he saved all that hundreds of millions, they're like, they just throw that like it ain't nothing. And then all this fraud that's happening in California and Minnesota, all this child care fraud and all that, they're how are they coming out in favor of it almost? They're almost mad that people are uncovering this amount of fraud. How about, hey, if you don't have nothing to hide, throw it out there. Same way. I mean, good grief. I don't understand it. Well, you're willingly giving your money to people who are frauding you. I don't.
The sense of entitlement and the ability for the left to play on people's emotions and to somehow get these people to be convinced that they are on the morally superior side. They have the moral high ground and they feel good about doing all these terrible things and making all these bad decisions because somehow they've been made to feel morally superior for doing it. They'll support. I mean, tax the rich, go get their money. It feels good. Like they do all these crazy things. They support all this stuff because they have been convinced that that's the right side.
I almost can't blame these people for coming over from overseas and starting up child cares. And because if you get caught, the white knight scenario of Americans will take over and they're like, oh, we can't criticize them. They're just doing the right thing. They're taking our money. It's been proving, it's continually being proven that they're taking money for no reason and frauding us. And you want to feel so racist or white privileged that you don't feel like you can call it out. I don't give a damn what color they are, where they're from. Don't be taking my money or anybody else's money. Any
Well,
American. Good
not
grief.
just that. You think about it, and then the left wants to make such a fuss over deporting these people. And I'm thinking about like, again, you draw this analogy. Let's, if I'm sitting here minding my own business at home, and then I roll up the street and break into my neighbor's house and start eating his shit and playing with his family and living his life and just messing with all his stuff. And then let's start stealing his money and raping his family and doing all those things. If the worst possible outcome was for me to be deported back to my own home, that ain't a bad situation. Like, no, you're right. No wonder people want to come here. They could come here and either get a whole bunch of free shit, abide by absolutely zero laws or rules, and just live how they want to live. And the worst thing that possibly is going to happen to them is they'll get arrested, spend a day or two in custody of jail, and then get sent home. Yeah, give it a shot. Why not?
Did you know that Chuck Norris can hear sign language? Can hear sign language, Greg. Chuck Norris. But I'm with you. And now, if they want to self-deport, they can fraud us out of millions and then self-deport and still get
We'll
paid
pay
for
'em to
it.
leave.
We'll pay them to leave. Give them a ticket. Fly them first class. Good grief. I saw somebody that I think she's running for governor of New York, perhaps. Before she was like daring people to leave. She's like, go down to Florida. We don't want you. We want real New Yorkers. And now she's on there like, we got to find a way to get everybody back because they called your bluff and they fucking left. And now you're like, please come back. Please help us out. You asked for what you got, especially New York City. You got your bed. Now lie in it, son.
Yeah, we got a buddy of ours. Somebody was just, I think it might have been Ty. I was talking about he's got a trip planned up to New York, and Haley and I go up there pretty regularly, and I love New York City, which is absolutely surprising. Like
That is
when we went up
surprising.
there, the first time we went up there 5 or 6 years ago, and I was a little hesitant because with my beliefs and my stances on things, I don't exactly fit in well in Manhattan. But let's just say for 3 or 4 night stretch, man, it's fun to go up there and shop and eat and drink and just tool around a bit. It's impressive. But yeah, I have not been back since the communist mayor has been elected, and I'm cautiously watching what happens up there because it doesn't take long to turn things sour from the inside.
Yeah. Military deploying, breaking news. Military deploying thousands more Marines and sailors to the Middle East. I'm just saying, I don't like it, Greg. I don't like it. Huh?
No, I mean,
You're on mute.
I don't like it either. Like I said, I will be 100% transparent. And, again, if you'd asked me 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would have wanted no part of this involvement at this time, but that was based on the information I have. All we can do is trust, and I know this is hard for people to hear, trust his track record, trust what he's done in the past. He says we can wrap this thing up within a few weeks. Let's give it. Look, he originally said what, 4 to 6 weeks. It's been 2.5, 3. Let's
I'm gonna give it
look.
time,
Let the man cook.
and I'm gonna. Oh, you sound like a kid. Let him eat. Let him eat, baby. Uh, I'm gonna give it time, and I'm gonna every time I want to question it, I'm gonna hear Greg in my ear saying, "Hey, we don't want to leave the job half done. You don't want to get off the crapper without finishing the
You should
job, so to
you
speak."
should pay more attention to my TikToks and my other podcast, David. I can give you all kind of stuff about not overreacting and being patient and stuff like that.
We will get to that in a little while, but there was an issue where Israel attacked an Iranian site supposedly without the knowledge of the US, and it kinda irked Trump a little bit. I didn't It just gives more fodder for people to be like, "Oh, Benjamin Netanyahu's running things," but at least it shows that we're not gonna blindly follow him.
Yeah, I mean, I think what more do you want? I mean, I think part of what probably makes Trump so hard for people to stomach is the fact that I mean, he's just pretty damn genuine and real, and you gotta know what he's thinking in that moment. I mean, it shows me all these people that say he's getting yanked around by the collar and that Netanyahu's in charge. I don't think that's the case because what I heard from Trump was kind of go, "Hey, that's not going to happen again."
Yeah, and well, they apparently there was talks of a retaliatory attack to Qatar, and I guess Qatar controls a lot of the oil and whatnot, and it pissed Trump off because he said, "Look, in no unknown terms necessary," he said, "Look, if you mess with Qatar, I promise you, we coming, bruh. We coming." He said, you just better get ready." That's basically what he said. And if Trump is telling you he's gonna come and make some bombs like you ain't never seen before, I would take him for his word in that because he will prove a point.
We'll put it on your level, David. The whole entirety of the Middle East is essentially like all these Real Housewife shows you watch. That's all
Okay,
it
I'm
is.
I'm in now. I'm in.
That's all these different countries are just the different housewives. They're all trying to sleep with each other, steal each
Mhm,
other's
mhm.
man, get each other's job. It's just drama. Let it
So
go.
Benjamin Netanyahu is Heather Dubrow, apparently, is what you're saying. And
No,
Trump
not what I'm
is
saying. Definitely not what I'm saying.
I'm trying to remember names. Trump is Tamara. He'll get pissed like Tamara, and he'll throw wine at Iran. Basically, is what you're saying. I get what you're putting down, Greg. I know what you're talking. But yeah. So if he's gonna
I
bring
honestly think Donald Trump is the only grown up in the room at times, and that's again, even as somebody who has voted for him 3 times, you and I've talked about it. He's not the most presidential or elegant guy in the world. It's hard for me sometimes with the way he portrays himself to have to slow down and go, yeah, but if you just pay attention to the actions, you just pay attention to what's getting done. He's the grown up in the room that's keeping everything in check.
similarly on that note, please tell me that you saw him speaking with the Japanese prime minister, and the Japanese reporter asked him and said, "Why did you feel the need to basically go do an attack without letting anybody know that you were going to go attack?" And Trump basically said, "You trying to tell us about attack? How come you didn't tell us about Pearl Harbor? You talking about surprises? Y'all the one with the surprises." And the look on her face, boy, that's dude, kudos. That is cojones to say that. That's so funny.
We are in the midst of our 47th presidential term, and I can assure you 45th and 47th are the only times where something like that would have ever come out of a president's mouth. But that's what I love. That
Oh, I love it.
not just because I respect the heck out of the comedic timing and the delivery and just how sharp that is, but to say it on that stage, in that moment, in that room full of people,
I mean, the
I
awkwardness.
he came out and it sounded very
Oh,
rhetorical
man,
and
so
cliched.
good.
Somebody was asking him about, was he afraid of the reaction of getting in this war and how, and he goes, yeah, I don't really think I'm afraid of anything. And I've replayed that part of the interview over and over again. And it's dawned on me, I go, I think he might be for real.
Yo,
And and
1000%.
and I don't mean that like hyperbolic. Like I think that man might legitimately be one of the few humans on the planet who can legitimately say, "I don't have any fear." Like I don't think he cares about what anybody else thinks. And honest to God, and I know this is cliche. I'm not saying he is a Christian or he's on his way to becoming one, but I'm telling you that man is trying his best to do what he thinks God is calling him to do.
Dude, he has no fear. He went and faced felony charges, which, by the way, it was basically one felony that they did like 34 different times. So they just want to say that, be able to say that they have 34-time felony. And what did he do? He put it on a T-shirt. He put his mugshot on a T-shirt. That's how little he cared. He's like, "Nah, bro, I'm Teflon Don. You can't touch me." Which it was a stupid thing that happened, and it's basically a witch hunt. And so I don't think he does have fear. And I go back to this when he talking about arrests. They talking about, oh, he's retaliatory. That means you did it first. Retribution. That's you did it first. He's reacting to you. So don't come at me like, oh, see, I told you he's going to do it. Yeah, because you did it first. If you slap me and then I slap you back, be like, I told you.
Well, that is so
Letitia
much of
James,
that's
how
so
dare
much of
you?
the political fodder. It's the whole circular argument thing of uh, everything the right does is a reaction to the left, but then the left has to react to the right's reaction to their. I mean, and it's just cyclical and just keeps going. And everything you do, you can point back to the last thing the other
Yeah.
side did. Was, oh, this was just our. Well, just stop. Like it's not hard. Just stop.
Did you know that Chuck Norris doesn't need a GPS? He decides where he is. Let that soak in. Let that soak in, Greg. Do you know that Chuck Norris can strangle you with a cordless phone? That's that's pretty good. I like that. That's a good one. Speaking of
Oh
good
man,
ones,
I can't wait till your kids get home from school.
I tell
That's
you
just going to be an
what's
educational day for them.
shockingly, they're downstairs. They came up just a second ago. They have a teacher's work day because God forbid we go more than 3 weeks without a teacher's work day. Good Lord, teachers, don't you get enough time off? And then they'll probably sit up there, have donuts delivered, send 3 grades out and be like, oh, we needed this. Come on, man.
Man, my girls are constantly complaining. They talk about how unfair it was because back in my day, we got like a full 3 months for summer and didn't start back till right around Labor Day. And I'm going, like, y'all literally never go more than 2 consecutive weeks.
About to
It is
say,
crazy.
yes, agreed. I love my teachers, but golly, especially since I have a few teacher friends, I gotta be careful what I say. But they're good people. Uh, speaking of good people, and what I say, not bad. Tell you what's bad is my bracket because March Madness took place yesterday, and I'm already out. I'm done. Still got a chance in the final game, but that'll probably change for too long. Greg, how's your bracket looking? Because I'm looking like absolute trash.
I'm it's pretty tightly bunched as it typically is after just day one. I think I'm one pick off the lead. Our boy Ty is sitting up top. I think we got a couple
Ty,
tied for the lead and then a couple more right behind him. And then you and I were trying to figure out, had a lighthearted moment right before the show because I was telling you, you got to call out your boy down at the bottom because you're only ahead of one guy. And that was when we figured out
Asher
that somebody,
Barnes.
there is somebody listening to this show who has no ties to either one of us.
Asher Barnes, take your whooping like a champ, son, because I am putting it on you with 100 points, and you got 90. So I'm not that far. We got quite a few at 100 here, but man, Asher Barnes, I don't know if I know who you are, but you take it, son. You're taking it. That's the only thing I got going for me because Wildfish Ties at the top with 130, and so is Coach Tyler Carlton, who has been a guest on the show. I think he just wants, I don't even think he wants the money. I think he wants to be on the show again. I bet that's what it is. Don't think he's going to turn down the money, though, especially in the middle of a move. At 130 points, Then we got Adam Whiting at 130 points. So we got three people at the top. So Adam Whiting, Tyler Carlton, and Wildfish Ty at the top of the board with 130 points, coming in closely by Jeff Carpenter, Carp Dog, with a 120. Brian Nobles has 120. Sean Plussel, my boy, has 120. This is UF equals basketball school. That's a good name. I like that. He hates Florida. He's a big Georgia fan. Went to Georgia, hates Florida. I think, no, he's a little younger than you. I was about to say, y'all might have been there around the same time. Andy Berry is at 120. Jonas, my boy Jonas, at 120. Greg Miller at 120. I still can't believe who you picked to win. That's when you know you love gambling more than you do sports, because my man picked Florida, and that's a
No,
sacrilege
David,
for him.
that's when you know you've been gambling long enough to figure out the exact price of an emotional hedge bet where you can bet against what you want to happen. Because this way, if I have to deal with the disgusting crap of Florida cutting down the nets, at
Yep.
least I got a good shot of winning the bracket.
Yep. Then we got Nathan White at 110. We got Wes McCard, Big Daddy Mac, at 110. Kevin Hawkins, good dude, great guy. Love that guy. He's quite a baller. So we get a Pike County. He lives in Pike County. At 110. Jonathan Harrison's got 100. Jesse Turner, my boy Jesse's got 100. And then you got Daddy D, David, at 100. I can't believe Jesse's at 100 because Jesse knows his shit. Can't believe he's tied with me. That really, you lose some credit there, Jesse, if you tied with me. And then we got Asher Barnes. Take that, baby. Take it, Asher, with 90 points.
Let me point out, Dave, and I don't want to kill your momentum. I know you're fired up. It's just day one. It's a long
day
tournament. Your boy Ty already was texting me this morning. He bragging about being in first place. Don't get comfy. It's early. I'm coming.
I mean, listen, there's a few bracket busters that took place. I mean, right out the gates, High Point took out Wisconsin. Good grief, dude. Who had High Point? I don't even know where High Point is.
In
I'm
North
assuming
Carolina.
it's above Low Point. It's North Carolina. Well, that makes sense then, because everybody freaking can play ball in North Carolina and drive cars, apparently. But High Point wins with a game-winning layup in the final seconds, 83-82. And then another upset, VCU, number 11, took out North Carolina. Speaking of North Carolina, a huge comeback and an overtime thriller, 82-78. VCU.
That one hurt me a little bit. That was one of my picks I gave out on my other show, and North Carolina actually was leading most of that game. It was pretty comfortable. They were 2.5 point favorites, and I felt pretty good. And next thing I know, it's getting sent to overtime. And then I was hoping that maybe VCU ran out of gas by working so hard to get it to overtime, but can't win them all.
It does not feel right seeing North Kakalaki out so early. Like, I'm not saying you got to go to the Elite Eight or Final Four, but man, it's not good seeing NIL, baby. NIL.
I'm pretty sure we had some folks who were listening to this show and in our bracket that were sweating the heck out of that Duke game for the longest time. That was
who would saw that coming?
That was
Seattle
close.
trying to roll out, bro. Let's see, more double-digit seed wins. Texas, number 11, Texas beat BYU. And yes, I guess it is an upset, but not really, because Texas is always right there. But BYU usually has them. Mormons can play, son. I mean,
this year's BYU team is loaded too. It's a good squad.
That is a bit of an upset. Texas A&M beating St. Mary's. I mean, number 10. I don't even say what St. Mary's ranked, but that was a bit of a chaos. At least four double-digit seeds won, which is pretty good. I don't know what the average is on that, but speaking of brackets, a lot of them were messed up. 0.04% of brackets remain perfect after day one. How about that? It's amazing with all the technology, AI, people watching basketball from sun up to sundown, watching it, professionals, every podcast you could think of about betting. And there's a new one that we're going to talk about in the show. And only 0.04% remain. That is crazy, dude.
I mean, mathematics is a funny thing, but when you really break down to it actually makes a lot of sense. The likelihood of getting every game right, every upset, even only through the first day of the first round, it's mind blowing to me that anybody's ever gotten a perfect run. And again, short of filling out thousands of brackets and
Yeah,
having damn near every possible combination.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how anybody's ever done it. I've never made it even through day one. I think the best I've made it through day one was having one loss.
I don't I can't even think of I'm so bad at this, and it was pointed out by other guys, the Sterling group that I'm in. He was like, "Oh, David's bracket's busted." Jeff Carp had to call me out. I was like, "Listen, y'all know this. Y'all play fantasy football with me. Y'all know I suck at this. Why do we keep having to point it out? It's shameful. You should be able to shame yourself pointing out the fact how bad I am at betting."
Well, while we're talking a little bit of basketball, we've mentioned several times on the show, and it's kind of become a running little joke that your wife doesn't listen to our show. And I've come to the conclusion now that even though you sit across from me while we record this shit, apparently you don't listen either. Because I asked you if you watched the Georgia St. Louis game so you could see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and you flat out told me you didn't even watch.
I did
Why don't
not
you listen
watch
to
the
me?
game. I watched some of the highlights, and I will say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar put it on freaking Georgia, dude. What the hell? Who saw that? I
I
guess
turned
a
it
lot
off
of
at
people saw
halftime.
it coming. You somewhat called it. You said it, and you're like, "Hey, listen, Georgia's continued to be a football school, which is not a bad thing, but boy, I would like to have a little variety in this." I didn't see that coming, but my middle boy Barrett, oh no, my youngest boy Sutton, we did little brackets with him too, and because he knows that I like Georgia, he picked Georgia to win it all. I'm like, buddy." So he's out immediately. He's got worse than me.
Oh, he definitely didn't listen to our podcast.
No, but if you do want to get gambling advice, possibly, it's a big market these days. And, listen, we all need a little bit of biblical beliefs in our life. We need a little Bible in our life, and you need to go to the ballots, that's for sure. And I got a podcast for you. It's called Beliefs, Ballots, and Bets. You might say to yourself, beliefs and bets at the same time, but Greg, you want to explain that?
Uh, I, like every other Christian I know, am a sinner, David. And instead of
For
hiding from
all
it, I
have
figure
sinned.
I'm gonna lean into it. There's gonna come a day where the good Lord helps me quit gambling. I'm aware it's a sin, but that day hadn't come yet, and I'm still praying about it. So I'm gonna have fun with it. I'm gonna be honest with it and lean into it. And truth be told, it's just you and I've had fun doing this, and I've had a couple of people reach out to me, and the one thing I have learned so far after releasing a couple of episodes is it's easy to get on here with one of your best friends and just shoot the shit for an hour or so. But man, it's hard to come up with a good 10 minutes flying solo. It is terrifying. I hadn't even thought about putting a video out yet. It's just been audio only. But no, I'm gonna try to do it Monday through Friday. Try to get on there every day of the week, and my goal is to try to get in that 10, 15, maybe 20-minute range, and to just talk a little bit about current sports stuff, but talk some real life stuff, and to try to help people maybe get in touch with how to apply some biblical truths to the crazy world we live in.
Greg got so tired of me talking and not giving him a chance to speak that he had to go make his own damn podcast. That's shameful, but it's I'm excited for it because, like I said, you get more into the betting and stuff, and I think when you go talking that and you look in my eyes, you know that I have absolutely no idea what the hell you're talking about. So I give you no help when it comes to the betting part of it. So I think it's great if you're interested in wanting to get gambling advice, biblical advice, and just real world advice. Go check out, make sure you go subscribe to Beliefs, Ballots, and Bets. One Gregory Miller. He tries to keep them in the range of, like you said, 10 to 15 minutes. So it's a quick listen. Start your day with it or start midday on your lunch break. Take a gander. See how you did the night before. I'm a subscriber. You should be a subscriber too. Hopefully soon he'll get a YouTube channel going and we can watch him as he awkwardly tries to do it by himself.
It is
I think it'll be
terrifying, man.
great. Like I said, it gives newfound respect to Rush Limbaugh for all those years of basically sitting there talking into a microphone, what looked like in a room by himself. I couldn't do it. I mean, I may give it a try, but I don't. It's very hard.
I have found that, like, when you and I will hop off of one of our shows, like, within an hour or 2, I can barely remember. By the time the show's released, like, half of it's a surprise to me when I'm listening to it. Like, because, I mean, it just, again, it's not, none of this is scripted. It's not like we study or prep. It's just an organic conversation. So half of it doesn't even really register as we go through it. But when you have to do a little prep to do one solo, man, I'm telling you, going back and listening to yourself and trying to think back to how you were, it's terrifying, but I'm having fun with it. And I think I don't know. It's just something I felt called to do, and I think maybe more than anything, it's a way to get me to do something every day that's going to force me to be a little better and force me to grow a little more, and spend a little more time in the scripture, and that's something that's the big priority for me right now.
I love it. Did you know that Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice? So if he can do that, Greg, you can make a successful podcast alongside. Hopefully, this one's successful too. But I guarantee you, the beliefs, ballots, and bets are going to be. It's going to be popular because that's a big topic. We kind of go all over the board, but that narrows it down. One thing you can bet on is that I will not be spending another dime at Harbin's Park in Decatur, Georgia. Telling you right now, not another dime. I'll bring my own Cokes. I'll bring my own lollipops. You will not get another one. I won't even buy a water. I'm not even gonna flush either. I'm gonna take a leak and not gonna flush. Actually, I'm gonna flush twice. I'm gonna waste your money that way because you wasted my money. You can bet on that.
David, it would be more beneficial if there was some sort of local heated rival for Harbin's Park, because then we could use this vitriol to possibly like attain a sponsorship just from the rival. Because
I
your constant
should.
spewing vile
I
on
know.
Harbin's Park would be beneficial if they had somebody to compete against.
I could go with the Buford City Park, but it's not really a rivalry. We're nowhere near it, which I do. I'm repping the Mudcats, who have a game in the morning at 9 a.m. We're trying to continue our undefeated streak. The only team in the league undefeated still is the Mudcats. Make it happen, baby. No tournament this weekend, so I will not be going to Harbin's Park. If we do go, I hope we go to Rabbit Hill because it's a much better park with much better concessions. But no tournament this weekend for me. I will have a game early tomorrow. Then I'm going to go spend time in the on the farmland with the wifey at her parents' house in beautiful White County, Georgia. 50 acres to roam around and just look at the lake and wet a light or two. Plan on doing that. Pet a cow. Wish we had horses though, because I've been watching that Madison, which they don't do a lot of horse riding in it, but it's a new show with Michelle Pfeiffer. Dang, why can't I think his name? What's the guy that was in Miracle?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell and Michelle Pfeiffer. It's another Taylor Sheridan movie, or show rather. Phenomenal, based out of Montana, and it makes me want to live there, and it makes me want to ride horses. So it's a Yellowstone adjacent.
As I told you, you can do both of those things, but it will not make you a cowboy. You
It
can
will
move to
not.
Montana and you can ride a horse, but you will never be a cowboy.
We went over this before. You're gonna be shocked one day when you turn on this camera and you see me in a full-fledged cowboy hat and a poncho shirt. Just, yeah, I may even be taller because I'm gonna put my boots on and stand up. Give me that extra
And
inch and
I
a
hope you
half.
learn all the choreography to YMCA.
That will be what I look like. That's you. That's what it is. When I wear the boots and anything Western, I just feel like everybody knows that I'm faking it, and I am. And you can tell right away. We went to a rodeo one
I
time, and I
can't
tried to do that way, and it was I
I
was so
can't lie,
fake.
brother. Even when I just stroll around with my cowboy boots, I feel like the biggest fraud in the world. And I love being 6'1.5", but I feel like a fraud when I have them
I
boots on.
know. I want to be that way, but I'm not. Beliefs, ballots, and bets. Go check it out. Go subscribe. This is episode 20, which I should have started with. Episode 20 of the podcast. Happy, happy, happy birthday, 14th birthday to one Madison
Avery
Miller.
Miller.
That's a beautiful name. I love it. Greg, anything else before we go?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the one thing I am least qualified in the world to do, and I'm gonna give some free parenting advice because it hits home on
Oh,
birthdays.
okay.
Don't blink because you will miss something.
Don't.
Absolutely happens fast. Illy is graduating and getting ready to go to Athens to go to school. Maddie is turning 14 and will be a freshman in high school. And it is just wild how quickly time flies. So that's my, and I'm focusing a lot on telling everybody else and focusing on myself to be present and enjoy the moment and be aware of what's really going on and appreciate it. Cause you don't ever get to go backwards in this life, and you kind of like a river, you can never touch the same water twice. So be present, appreciate the moment. Maddie girl, I love you, baby. Happy 14th birthday. Can't wait to take you up to the cabin and celebrate for a few days with you and your friends for spring break next week. And I love you, baby. Y'all, the rest of you, get in your Bibles, say your prayers, tell the truth, and be good to each other.
I was going to sing a song, but I can't. We got to end it with that. It was so beautiful. Happy birthday, Madison. Till next time, guys. Peace.